and I'm just gonna light these. Oh. Hey guys, it's Gaz and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm back outside because I loved filming outside using the gas stove last week when I did my ultimate chili con carne video. Today I have something sweet, and it's actually Bonfire Night in the UK, and I've got the ultimate Bonfire Night dessert for you guys. It is Toffee Apple Brownie. Yes, that's right, Toffee Apple Brownie. It tastes unbelievable, and this is how to make it. So first up, at home, just set your non-stick frying pan over a medium heat, and we're going to make the toffee apple first. I'm using Braeburn apples, which are quite crisp. They're also really sweet, so they're the perfect sort of apples for this because they hold their sort of texture. They're not going to go to a mush when we cook them. So all we need to do is just chop these up into nice cubes, make sure they're even. You'll have to forgive me for using such a small board. I can't get my big one on the table with this gas stove on, so that's why everything's falling off. So I'm just adding 5 tablespoons of light brown sugar to the pan, and we're going to let that turn into like a caramel-like consistency. Just to help it out, I'm going to add a touch of water and a tiny bit of vegan butter. Allow the sugar to melt down and form a caramel. When your caramel is starting to bubble and almost turned a golden colour, add your apples. Be very careful because the sugar caramel is really hot. So these apples are going to go really nice and golden. It's going to turn into like a toffee. Toffee apples just remind me of when I was young, going to Halloween parties or bonfire nights and things like that. This time of year, toffee apples, it's a nice thing. So let's get them cooking. Whilst the apples are cooking, preheat a saucepan filled with a little bit of water. So guys, here I got some dairy-free chocolate. I've got quite a dark chocolate here. Feel free to use whatever chocolate you like. Make sure it's dairy-free though. I've got 1.5 cups of it, and there's nothing worse than the brownie that doesn't have any actual chocolate in. It's just made with cocoa powder, because you don't get that nice gooey sort of texture of the brownie. So I'm just going to chop this up small. I'm going to get it in the bowl and put it on top of the saucepan filled with a little bit of water, and that's going to melt nicely and really gently, because you don't want to be melting chocolate too quick because it'll spoil the flavour. So just chop this up small. So now that I've chopped up the chocolate small, it's time to get it into our bowl. And this method of melting the chocolate is called a bain-marie. Add 5 tablespoons of vegan butter. So as you can see, it's already started to melt. You want to leave that for a little bit longer until it's all a really nice consistency. Meanwhile, I'm going to mix the dry ingredients together. To a mixing bowl filled with 1.5 cups of self-raising flour, add 1.25 cups of light brown sugar. Add 3 tablespoons of cacao powder, a pinch of sea salt, a pinch of cinnamon. And let's give this a really nice mix up. Make sure it's really well mixed together. And that is basically the dry ingredients done. Now we just need to wait for the chocolate to be fully melted, and we'll get that mixed in with this. And the brownie is nearly done. These apples are smelling beautiful. I'm gonna let that caramelize for a little bit longer. Look at that, look at them bubble away there. Give your chocolate a stir. I'm just gonna turn the heat off now, because it's starting to boil underneath, so we just want that to nicely steam away and melt the rest of the lumps in this chocolate. Look how glossy and beautiful that looks. Keep tossing the apples. Look at them now. The caramel is starting to really be absorbed by the apples, and it's starting to stick together really nicely. Prepare yourself a baking tray lined with greaseproof paper. Apples are done, so now let's mix the wet ingredients into the dry. So first up, I have some oat milk. Add 1 cup of oat milk to the dry ingredients, followed by the melted chocolate and vegan butter mixture. Look at that. So simply you just want to fold this in using like a figure of 8 motion. So just with your spoon like so, going around and through the middle. Look how luxurious that looks already. That is the brownie mix done. So let's get it in the baking tray and get it cooking. Simply pour it in. Make sure the brownie mix is spread evenly throughout the tray. So now that I spread out the brownie mix, I'm not done yet. Let's get our toffee apple over the top, and look at that caramel with it. I'm just going to spread this as evenly as possible throughout the brownie. Let's get some nice walnuts over the top, and just break these up in your hand and just let them spread out nicely over the top. Last but not least, I'm going to just sprinkle over some beautiful pumpkin seeds, and if you have an allergy to nuts, I would just obviously leave out the walnuts and just put additional seeds. It had a real nice crunch to the brownie, and as I said before, I really don't like a dry brownie, and just to be double sure, one piece has already gone in, I'm going to add some hard chunks of chocolate. This is just optional, just a few pieces running throughout. Now as the brownie mixture rises, everything inside, so the apple, the walnuts, the pumpkin seeds and the chocolate, will absorb right into the brownie mixture, so it's going to be running right through it. It's going to taste absolutely incredible. Now I'm going to put this in a preheated oven set at 180 degrees Celsius for about 25 minutes, and meanwhile I'm going to make the most amazing caramel sauce to serve with it. So guys, the brownie has been in the oven for about 15 minutes. It's now time to make my caramel sauce, which I'm going to be serving with it. This takes it to the next level and makes it even more of a sweet treat, but honestly it's beautiful. So first up, I'm going to preheat this heavy based saucepan, and I'm going to get 2 cups of sugar in there melting down. Add the 2 cups of sugar to the saucepan, followed by 4 tablespoons of water. Once the sugar has melted, turn the heat up and let it turn to a golden caramel. Don't stir it, just gently shake the pan. As it starts to get golden, turn up the heat and leave it bubble for around 2 more minutes. So now that it's at this colour, I'm taking it off the heat and we're going to get some cream in there. And I'm using some oat cream, which is from Oakley. Just going to let this cool slightly before I add it. People were asking where I got my soya cream from in my steak and chips video. This is from Oakley, this version, and it's oat milk, so it's a bit better than the soya one, I think. So we just let that cool slightly. Let's get around 5 tablespoons of butter into the mix. And just stir that in really carefully. So I waited for the caramel to slightly cool, and then I added 5 tablespoons of vegan butter, and I've just finished pouring in around 1 cup of this Oakley cream, and you are left with this beautiful caramel sauce, and the butter's just nearly finished melting. So once it's all combined together, I'll be ready to serve. Once the caramel sauce is done, pour it into a jug. Wow, the toffee apple brownie is done, and look how beautiful that looks. I'm really impressed with that. Now let's just get it out of the tray, and I'm going to dish it up. I've just scooped out some of my homemade vanilla ice cream as well, and I will be doing a recipe video on that, I promise you, soon. I know it's winter time, but I may do it in the next series I film in November. So what I'm going to do is cut up 2 really nice squares and present them on my beautiful plates here. So, oh wow, look at that. So gooey in the middle. Makes it quite hard to cut, but it's going to taste incredible. This is fresh out the oven, so it may not hold together, but if you let it cool a bit more, you will get those nice squares of brownie. That's the best square I can possibly get. You know I'm all about presenting things perfectly, but I think as a brownie, it's gooey in the center, it's gonna sort of break apart like that. It's gonna taste so good anyway, so who cares about the presentation for once. There we go, look at that, nice slice there. I just had a little cheeky taste and it's so, so good. As I said, I've got some of my homemade ice cream here. Little nice scoop of that on the side. I'm just gonna grab a sprig of mint. Next, I'm gonna drizzle around some of this beautiful caramel sauce. Look at that. And as it's bonfire night in the UK, let's get the sparkler on them both. And that is my toffee apple brownie with caramel sauce and vanilla ice cream, perfect on bonfire night. That is beautiful. It's a bit over the top with the sparkler, I know, but I had to show off that it was bonfire night. And that's my bonfire night dessert. I do realise that was way too over the top for a simple brownie, but after all, it is bonfire night. I just need to give this a try, really. That's the most important part. And look how beautiful that looks. soft in the center that is. I'm not saying gooey again. Let's give it a try. Wow, honestly, you have to try this dessert, whether it's on Bonfire Night or not. It's a really nice treat for a special occasion. Maybe don't go so over the top with the sparkler as I did, but it's Bonfire Night, so I had to do it. Tastes unbelievable, so don't forget to like, share, comment on this video, hit subscribe, and if you want to be part of the notification gang, hit the bell so you're the first ones to know about my new videos. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the brownie if you recreate it. Thank you so much.